Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Watcher of Realms video. Guys, I want to talk through some of the events that have just popped up that are coming up for the weekend. So we've just kind of come off of one of the craziest summon weekends I think we've seen in the game. And I mean, it wasn't great for me because I didn't manage to pick up either an extra copy of Hatsu or a copy of Artemis. But I know tons of people have done so. But I have been holding on to my ancient summons for quite a while, actually. I've been waiting for like 10 times on specific lords rather than just pulling whenever there's any sort of ancient banner. So we've got one coming up. We're going to go through that. There is also just the kind of like usual 2 times events coming up this weekend for legendaries with both the divine summons and the normal summons as well. If you're a newer player, these generally are better. Like if you don't have many legendaries, then these events, you've got a double chance to pull legendaries. You've got a better chance to pick some stuff up. But if you're a later player like I am now, you probably want to pull during specific banners. So let's talk about this one then. It's an interesting one because it's literally like a coin flip of awesome and not awesome. So if we start with awesome, yeah, we've got ourselves in the special ancient summoning, seize the chance to summon a lord, as well as heroes of the Supreme Arbiters and the Chaos Dominion. So we've got here one of the better lords in the game, Toror. Definitely up there as one of my most wanted. Look how cool this guy looks, by the way. Look how cool this guy looks. Just like awesome work on the visual on this guy. Really, really love it. Yeah, so Toror, the Undying Bull, he's a lord of the Nightmare faction. The Nightmare faction in particular are just really, really cool. Now, you probably will already have Wrath if you've been playing for a while. So you've already got access to an epic lord in this faction, which does mean it's slightly less desirable because you've got something in that area already. But Toror is definitely a big step up, okay? And then other heroes in this faction, well, you've got some big ones, right? So, you know, Volker, who is someone that we're all going to pick up. Yeah, another freebie. You've got people like Arrogance in here. You've got people like Falk in here. You've got people like Salazar, another Abomination, another freebie. Lust, you might have picked up recently. Greed, another freebie. There's tons of like heroes that you're just going to get in this faction. And that's what makes Toror even better because he's the leader or the lord of the faction where you're probably most likely to have a really good roster, yeah, of a good mix of epics and legendaries. So for me, it becomes even like higher utility. In terms of what do we get in addition to what Wrath does already for the Lord bonus? Well, Wrath's already given us a stat boost like all of them do. We've got this specific Nightmare boost, which is one of the best Lord bonuses in the game. As you drop more Nightmare units, you get more attack speed, up to 35%. You can literally drop one, pick them up and never use them again. You still gained their portion of that bonus. So 35% is really easy to get for your group as soon as you got 4 from this faction. And as I said, there's a whole bunch of freebies in this faction. The counter to it is that you get less healing from healers. Yeah, so your healing multiplier is reduced by 20%. But the attack speed going up by 35, you're just pumping out damage faster. Super cool. So when we throw Toror in the mix, you get more basic stats by 5%. So 50% more basic stats than what Wrath gives you. The healing reduction is reduced to 15% instead of the 20%. And then you also get this here, which is absolutely bonkers, honestly. Faction allies, basic attacks got an extra 30% chance of landing an additional hit. So if you've got someone with high attack speed, and bearing in mind you're growing your attack speed anyway, every time you hit, you've got a chance of another hit. 1 in 3, every time, another hit. Think about that across four of your team on the floor, all piling in hits. Think about how much extra damage you're doing with that. It's a colossal amount of extra damage. So Toror becomes, I think, just one of the best lords in the game. Definitely, I'm going to be pulling my ancient summons this weekend to try and get this guy. So in terms of the rest of his kit, instant revival, defense breaker, which is unusual, and control. So he's got this talent here. Each attack inflicts defense reduction 20% This is a really unusual skill. There's not many champions that do it in the game. On the target for 5 seconds. Additionally, when Toror is deployed or revived, and he's got a self-revive, increases his attack and defense by 20%. Pretty nuts. He's a tank who outputs damage. He's a defender. He's got a block of 3. His cost is quite high at 25, but most tanks are. Yeah, let's go through his kit. Deals damage to an enemy basic attack. After activating his ult, this is his ult here. He's just kind of like throwing out the big smack. This guy's, I've only just thought about it actually. This guy is the guy in the Void Rift, right? Yeah. With the big old axe. So it's quite an expensive ult at 1100. And you get some cost reduction going through this to 900, which is much better. After activating, increasing his attack speed by 80, which again, does that go up? No. By 80, damage dealt by 80%, which does go up with books. Attacks multiple enemies within range for 20 seconds. So basically, it becomes an AoE hit. You've got Atrocious Trample here. Each attack launched 20% chance to do AoE. That goes up to 30 and inflicts stuns. When Hellfire Burning is activated, which is the ult there, the trigger chance increases and the range changes as well. And then we've got Hellfire Resurgence. Revives after his first death in battle with half health, 60% rage. You can do that once. And again, that goes up depending on the books. So really cool kit. But the best thing about him probably is his ally skill. In terms of if you've already got him, would I go for another one? Or you get an additional 20% on the trample range? I don't know. I mean, obviously it's good. I don't know if I'd be like must pull for that extra range. I don't know, honestly. Interested to know if anyone's got a +1. Did it make a massive difference? It's when you start getting, towards like the high end of Awakening where it gets really crazy. So Toror, I think it's definitely going to be worthwhile for people's pulls. And then we've got here Giselle, who is probably, Giselle might be on the other end of the spectrum. One of the worst legendaries in the pool, I think. So she's a fighter. She's part of the Nightmare and part of Chaotic faction. Got it all going on. Quite cheap at 12 cost. And actually got this kind of like more damage in the arena passive. I never see her in the arena ever. So I'm guessing her damage output is just not high enough. What's going on? Dealing damage inflicts 1 stack of Bloodbane. When dealing damage to an enemy with 3 stacks, consumes 5% of the current HP of this hero, removes them all, and does like an AoE burst. She's got single target damage there, extra attack speed, converts into crit damage here, and increases damage dealt to enemies with HP higher than 70%. So the thing with her is, she's just a bit blah, honestly. Very, very cool animation though of her ult. It's actually really cool. I love that. I've not seen that before. When the ult is triggered, keeps rotating for a while, dealing multiple damage to enemies around. The shorter the attack interval, the higher the damage frequency. Yeah, I mean, I guess the only thing with her is she probably will be buffed at some point because she's just a bit weak. But yeah, this is what I mean, like, kind of like chalk and cheese. But I definitely will be trying to get myself a Toror at the weekend. Let me know your thoughts. Are you all in for this guy as well, or are you holding? And I'll see you in another one real soon.